Hi guys, this is Ratchet Throw, and we are playing Criminal Case Elite Mode, Case 44, Graveyard Shift. Let's unlock Chapter 2, and somebody has invited us to a dinner which we need to attend. For what reason? We don't know yet. Count Damien von Bloodsager seldom invites people to his castle, but when he does, it's unwise to refuse. What, is he a vampire? Katerina, I should warn you that the Count is, rumored to be a... Please, don't tell us he's a vampire, Chief. I'm sure it's only a rumor. Just be polite and do whatever he wants, and nothing bad will happen. Good luck. Katerina, I don't believe for a second this Count is really a vampire, but if he purports to be one, he might be involved in our bloodless poisonous device. We better see him at once. Alright. Oof. You sleeping and... Well, there's somebody at the window here. I don't want to sleep in a coffin. Never. Thank you for accepting my invitation, Lisbeth Katrina. My cat Lucifer and I never leave the castle, but the owls bring us news from town. I've heard of your famed detective skills. Did you? I also know about the vampire attacking the cemetery, and I decided to give you my version of the events, before your suspicion naturally turns to me. Your version of the events? Do you mean you saw the victim tonight? You could say that. Edgar broke into my castle, drunk as a sailor, wishing to see a real vampire. He was most disappointed to hear that it wasn't the time of the month when I shapeshifted into a bat and drank human blood. I sent Edgar on his way, unscathed. I see. The problem is he then went to the cemetery where we found him dead, with all the blood drained from his body. Tell me that's not suspicious, dude. Count Damien, I hope you understand that Lisbeth Katrina will have to look around your castle. Do as you wish, Lisbeth Katrina. I'll leave you to it, for dawn is close and I must hide from the light. Oh, please. If you really are a vampire, how long have you lived? Alright, let's investigate the castle then. EW. Oh, the satchel. Plate. Katrina, Count Damien goes to great lengths to adopt the appearance of a vampire. Have you seen that coffin he keeps in the hallway? Yes, I did. Ah, but I see you found some clues. I concur that satchel belonged to the victim. We better inspect its contents. And that porcelain might have been knocked down by Edgar as he broke in. Piece get back together shall be enlightening. Okay. Okay, let's look around the satchel. Oh. Katrina, this poem we found in Edgar's bag might reveal his thoughts from the night he died. Let's see. It was many and many a year ago, in a village by the trees, that I broke the heart of a maiden you'll know, by the name of Annabel Lay. Katrina, I don't know much about poetry, but this one's quite clearly about Edgar abandoning his darling Annabel. Except Annabel never said anything about this. On the contrary, she said the angels were jealous of their happiness. You're right, Katia, we better talk to Edgar's muse again. Okay. Okay, now let's restore this plate. Well then. Katrina, this tissue restored is splattered with blood. Tarnation, this is the victim's blood. Then Count Damien lied to us about letting Edgar leave unscathed. We must send this dish to Viola at once. Well, she'll tell us what exactly was it. Alright, let's go to Annabelle now. Annabelle, we found one of Edgar's poems about breaking your heart, but you never mentioned him leaving you. Poetry shouldn't be taken literally, Katerina, especially not Edgar says. He was so artfully inconsistent. Edgar saw me as his muse for every shade of love, from faithful devotion to the despair of abandonment. He wanted to experience every emotion with me. But deep down, Edgar was just like my kitten Mephisto. He'd wander off, but always come back to me before long. Well, he never did come back from his wanderings in the cemetery. You don't need to remind me that my Edgar is dead. If only he'd carried the holy water I gave him to fend off the vampires. Please, Katrina, if Divos didn't take him, who did? Please, Katrina will find out, and his killer's lies will crumble, to dust at the first ray of sunshine. Oof, it could be you. Is the blood on this plate the victims? Katrina, did I tell you that lunch with my father was a success? Really? I was very nervous after what I heard about him, but he was really kind. I think I'm going to meet him again. We'll have to take your word for it, Viola. Now, what about the... Of course, Katrina, you want to know about this dish you found in Count Damien's castle. The blood is indeed the victims. Moderation. I didn't believe for a second that Count Damien was a real vampire, but if the victim's blood is on this dish, you'll have some explaining to do. Wait until you hear the rest, Katrina. I found some fingerprints on the dish. Some of them were the victims, but others belonged to a certain Amelia Batts. I checked our records and Mrs. Batts is Count Davis's housekeeper. A housekeeper? You're right, Katrina, we better get acquainted with this Mrs. Batts. Batts, what a funny last name. And a creepy one if she turns out to be creepy. Mrs. Batts, we understand you work as Count Davis's housekeeper. That's right, dear. The Count never leaves the castle, so I do his shopping. Groceries, cat food, fresh dirt for the coffee he sleeps in. I know what you must think, Lisbeth Katrina. The Count is somewhat peculiar, but he really wouldn't hurt a fly. It's those young layabouts you should really do something about. They keep breaking into the castle just to gawk at the Count, and I have to clean out the mess they make. Perchance this explains the blood we found on this dish. The man who cut himself breaking it ended up murdered a few hours later. Murdered? Serves him right for getting liquored up in the tavern before trespassing and breaking dishes. That's all I have to say about this matter. We shan't disturb your sleep any longer then, Mrs. Batts. Until new evidence comes to light, that is. Now, Katrina, everything seems to come back to the victim getting drunk in the tavern. What say you we take a fresh look at the place? Yeah, that's where everything started then, before he died. Alright, let's go there. Where the fuck are the candles? Oh, there. Gee. Katerina, someone dropped this sketchbook in the mud, but I trust you can recover the rest of the drawings. And what is that locked case doing here? Let's open it. Katerina, these clues might shed light on Edgar's final hours. Let us proceed. Okay. Alright, let's dust the sketchbook. Oh, it's Annabelle. And there's Callum's name. Ooh. Katrina, you revealed the portrait of a lady we know, Annabelle Lay. So she wasn't only Edgar's views. He did. This drawing is signed by the victim's friend, Callum Edwards. Katrina, I'm not an art expert like our Diego, but could a man draw the likeness of a lovely boy without coveting that beauty for himself? What if Callum competed with Edgar for Annabelle's heart? They could have given Callum a motive for murder. Well, let's hear it from him then. You're right, Katrina. Callum has hopefully sobered up enough to clarify this matter. Alright. Alright, now the locked case. Oh, is it the syringe used in murder? Katrina, you found a syringe in the case. Finally, a ray of hope breaks through the darkness. Witches said that the pretend vampire bites on the victim's neck were made with a needle. We must get this syringe to Viola post haste. Yeah. Another 24 hours. Alright, let's go to Callum now. Callum, we thought you and Edgar were friends. What should we make of this portrait you drew of his beloved Annabelle? Ah, you found my sketchbook, Lisbeth Katrina. I shan't deny I had feelings for Annabelle. And Edgar only quoted her to rub his superiority in my face. He always had to prove he was a better man. He bragged that he had more money, that his horse was faster. He even claimed my own cat Smokey loved him more than me. But tonight, I decided to have the last laugh. It was me who sent Edgar to break into the castle. Hoped he'd get his coming pains from Count Damien. Pence, I don't know how to pronounce it. You sent Edgar to the castle hoping the Count would harm him? I know enough about vampires and know the Count's only pretending to be one. But I hoped at least he'd unleash his dogs on a burglar. But Edgar came back from the castle unscathed, so my prank didn't cause his death. He only had himself to blame, and I refused to take responsibility. Oof. Is this syringe the murder weapon? Katrina, I confirmed that this is the syringe the killer used to puncture the victim's carotid artery. Some of Edgar's blood was still on the tip. Ha! Kid as the killer were to impersonate a vampire. Their fangs turned out to be nothing but metal. Viola, did the killer leave their fingerprints on this instrument? Unfortunately not, but I did find a strange substance on the surface. And it turned out to be red wine. The killer must have had a glass to steady their nerves before handling the syringe. So our killer drinks red wine. That's better than drinking human blood, but it'll land them in jail just the same. Alright. Katrina, is it just me, or have the skies got darker? It did get darker a bit. Are there any lights on? Do we still have the lamp? Most fitting since we are stumbling in the dark with Edgar Wose's murder. We learned that Edgar's friend, Callum, was secretly jealous of him. So, while drunk, he made Edgar break into the castle on the hill. There, Edgar met Count Damien, who... What? What was it? What the devil was that? It sounded like the howl of... What the fuck? Katarina, I think there's something lurking in the dark. Oh dear. Well, that's just what I needed. Alright, we're gonna stop here. We're gonna continue playing in chapter 3. So, thank you for watching. Don't leave a like to this video, and I'll see you again. Goodbye!